Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Where have you been? Oh, job hunting.
Say what now?
Yeah.
Sort of lost my job there for a while, but luckily I just got a new one I'll be starting up real soon. So that means I'm back and I'm ready to pick up where I left off.
Good, because you promised to make a review every week in March, but all you've uploaded so far are clips of your TikTok live streams and nature walks.
One would think that with all that free time you had, you would have had time to write these reviews. True, but finding a new job was top priority. Or else.
So it's gotta go broke.
Fair point.
So what are we reviewing today? Yes, well, I do plan on making reviews on every movie I saw in theaters between June 2 and now, in reverse chronological order, starting with Monkey Man!
Never heard of it.
That's because it's new. Kind of. By the time that this review is out,
Filming, writing, whatever.
Monkey Man would have been out for about 2 weeks. So, what's it about? Glad you asked! This is a film that stars Dev Patel, one of my personal favorite actors, and who I strongly believe is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood today. Dev Patel not only stars in this action-packed thrill ride, but he also wrote, produced, and directed it as well. For the plot summary, it does take a lot of inspiration from John Wick. Heck, for crying out loud, the movie even mentions John Wick at one point. Anyway, the movie is about a young man simply going by the name Bobby, an alias inspired by a brand of cleaning products, who sets out on a revenge scheme to take out those responsible for his mother's death. When he was a child, Bobby witnessed the police chief, Rava Singh, I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly, beating and choking his mother to death before setting their home on fire when the police were illegally taking away their community's land under the false pretenses of this was ancestral lands of the Indian majority. Kind of like this. Hello, random minority people. This is the majority. How's it going? So listen, your land is now officially seized by us, the majority, who doesn't give an F about you. Wait, then where are we supposed to go? Why? When he's an adult and earning a living as a masked fighter at an underground fight club, a character modeled after Hanuman, a character in Hindu belief Bobby's mother would tell him stories of as a child, he manages to swindle his way into getting a job at a club Rana Singh frequents. But after a botched attempt on Rana's life, he is taken in by a troop of transgenders who nurse him back to health and help him to become a better fighter. Now, it's time for round 2! And Bobby, aka Monkey Man, is ready to take out Rana and his corrupt boss, the ruthless guru Baba Shakti, with the help of his new friends and allies. What did you think of this movie? I loved this movie, and I see why it's gotten the positive reception it has, because it's a well-made action film. While unlike the John Wick movies it clearly was inspired by, where those films were nearly non-stop action, Monkey Man does take a long time to set up the fight scenes. I wish there was less of those boring, slow political scenes and more action, but I do see the point behind them.
A radical group of the majority taking what rightfully belongs to the minority for their own selfish gain.
Hey, I wonder where we heard that before. That and the movie is clearly style over substance. But you said there's a lot of political scenes. There are, but those scenes are mostly left to interpretation due to the amount of trippy imagery involved. In fact, we don't get Bobby's full backstory at first. We just get glimpses of it until the halfway point. So for a while, apart from knowing his hands are scarred and he's doing this for his mother, we don't get a sense of his motivation until halfway through the movie. That's a weird creative choice. But it does technically work. But it could have been done better. But my biggest issue with this movie would have to be the character Alfonso.
Who's that?
He's this gangster the Monkey Man befriends while working at the club. Alfonso does help Bobby escape after the botched attempt on Rana Singh's life, but after he abandons him to flee from the cops after getting into a car crash,
Well,
less car crash and more police ramming them to a stop, Alfonso just disappears from the story entirely. I mean, sure, he does pop up a couple of times afterwards, and I was expecting him to take part in the final siege, but he just never shows up again.
That seems like a waste of a perfectly good character.
Especially since we know he hates the corrupt officials like Rana. So why doesn't he take part in the climax? We could have had a scene in where he heroically sacrifices himself to save his new friend, redeeming himself. But no! Alfonso just disappears from the story!
That's weird.
The movie is slow in places, it's clearly style over substance, and one character's arc is
Way too short.
but it doesn't mean I hate this movie. With fantastic fight scenes, wonderful music, and amazing performances, Monkey Man was an enjoyable film from start to finish. It's not the John Wick knockoff I joked about earlier, but it has an identity of its own rooted in Indian mysticism and culture. The film also opened my eyes to the persecution minorities in India face. For these reasons, I give Monkey Man a 4.75 out of 5.
Isn't that the same score you gave Dune 2?
Yes, it is! Monkey Man, in my honest opinion, is just as good as Dune 2.
And just as flawed.
Both of these movies are almost near perfect, but miss the mark due to certain story elements falling flat. Anyway, this has been the Mystery Writer speaking. I'm Fred!
And I'm Shadow.
And until next time!